Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Medicom MAFEX comic book Captain America. This figure is so much better than it was originally advertised, which is awesome. Usually I would say usually more often than not, it's the other way around, where usually a figure looks so great in the promotional images. Sometimes, depends on how it's posed and whatnot. But then we get it in hand and it's like, damn, this is wrong with it, or this should be changed, or blah, 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 whatever, what have you. And this figure is the complete opposite. I have one thing that I want to do to it, but that's just a personal preference. But this guy is so freaking amazing. And Daredevil is on the way, so I will be reviewing him too. Because Captain America, Daredevil, Spider-Man, those are my top three, like, individual solo heroes. Those are my top three. But obviously Fantastic Four is, like, my number one, as you guys know. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this cap. So as you can see on him right now, this is exactly how he comes out of the package. He's got the fists on him, which look really great. They got the little bit of wrinkles going on for like the glove tops and everything, or the glove, like wrinkles for the wrists, which carry on to the actual wrists themselves, which is pretty cool. So he does not come with this Mjolnir, but he comes with two grip hands, which is for holding Mjolnir, which is really cool. So he comes with the two grip hands, and he comes with these two kind of open hands. So here's the other grip hand. You can see what it looks like right here. It's not connected either, which is really good. I'm glad about that, because then you can get whatever you want really into his hand, which is really cool. And you could definitely slice the finger if you wanted to give him a gun or something like that to kind of like throw it way back and do a good old World War II cap. I actually messed up. The hands for Mjolnir are secure, so these are like perfectly fit for Mjolnir. The other ones were for the shield gripping hands, which we'll get to the shield here in a minute. But yeah, I'm a little backwards on that, but these hands are great. Comes with a pair of, Avengers Assemble, or, Attack, or whatever you want to do with it. Pointing finger hands, which these look great. They got some nice kind of wrinkle detailing on them. He has a pair of relaxed hands, which these look great. You can see, like, the insides of the hands, how much they've sculpted and, like, put level of care and detail into these sculpts, which, we always expect that from Medicom. They always typically do that, I would say. He has a pair of these shield throwing hands, which these are standard for Captain America. These hands are not, they're not the greatest. They don't really work for what they're supposed to. They kind of do, but it's always hit or miss. Usually it's miss, at least in my collection of Captain America figures that I have from Medicom, which is every single Captain America they've made, which is pretty cool. I just realized that. So here is the other grip hand, which like the C grip, which you just put the, it on the shield like that, which the shield looks great. It's got the white inside of it, but oh man, look at the coloration on that. It looks so good. I like the dark blue. Part of me wishes that it was light blue, but I like the dark blue. I think it's a nice contrast with the actual like suit of him and whatnot, and like for this era, I think it looks really good. No paint scuffing or anything. I got very, very, very lucky with that, so that's really awesome. And this looks great. And these obviously are removable to where you can put on the smaller grips, which these smaller grips actually are for, the like putting that effect in so it looks like he's throwing the shield, like it's mid-throw, mid-catch, whatever you want to do with it. I typically glue the other ones on because I don't use those because, like I said, those effects don't really work well on mine. But they're there if you want them. And then he also comes with an alternate shield that has the straps, so you can get like what my brain thinks of as the Earth's Mightiest Heroes look, where like the straps actually went over his shoulders, which obviously it was like that in the comics, but my first exposure to it was that. So this is really cool. And mine actually broke out of the package, which is really unfortunate. So I did end up having to glue it because it wouldn't go back in. Like I thought maybe it was supposed to be detached, and it may be that way, but it was this top one, and I think it was supposed to be detached, but it just wouldn't go back in. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just glue it. And I might show on camera how to get it over his shoulders. I probably will. We'll just kind of go over that a little bit later, though. As you can see on him right here, he has this wonderful head sculpt, which looks so good. And the head sculpts are the thing that I will be tweaking, because if I real quick bring in my custom Captain America, I put the black on his forehead because I love that like little bit of shading from like the comics and stuff like that. And this just to me looks wrong. And I did that exact same thing with the Nightfall Batman as well. So it's my mind's eye version of Captain America and Batman. They both got to have that if they got the blue going on, So that's my personal thought on that. But as it is, I love the way the head sculpts look. He has this teeth gritting head, which looks really good. All the paint apps on these are just stellar. I love this. They look great. The wings are hard plastic though, so please, please, please be careful. Try not to drop this guy onto any hard surfaces. You do not want these to chip and break off. And then we have an unmasked head, which looks really good. It looked really bad in the promotional photos, which I'm so glad that ended up not being the case here, because it looks so good. It looks a little bit like Frank Miller's Superman, which I don't really mind that, actually. But yeah, I'd like to see some people get a hold of this and maybe paint up a Superman head or paint up something with it, because I feel like you could do some really cool stuff with this. But he's got the down cowl in the back, which is really cool. It just slides onto the neck. You got to pop the head off first. And then the head, you know, and neck just interchangeable. Nothing too fancy. Pretty much what we've seen with typical alternate head stuff, but it looks so good. And now taking a look at the detail on Cap, we already took a look at the head sculpts, but the neck, you know, is that blue. He's all in this same blue color. He's got a little bit of shading going on, not too terribly much. That's like super, well, that's not true. He has a lot, but a lot of it is very subtle to the point where you couldn't even tell in the promotional photos. So I love that it has a lot more in person, and even under my studio lights, you can see that there's shading on the muscle definition and everything. It just looks so much better than it was advertised, which is so good. And I hope that Daredevil's the same way, because like Daredevil looks good, but he really needs shading. So I really hope that that figure has like a lot of good shading on him. But looking at his torso, you got the, you know, the scale mill going on, which looks really good. I wish that it had the shading that the Legends one does. It's kind of crazy that they didn't do really anything with that, because like if I bring that figure back in, they put some crazy shading on his, and like a wash on his scales, and they look so good. And I wish that they would have done that for this Cap. I get why they didn't, but at the same time, like, oh man, that would have been so cool. And it probably wouldn't be that hard to do, but like we shouldn't have to do it. The star looks great. He's got a little bit of shading on the abs. It's actually a blue shading too. So I wonder if they just like shaded the whole figure in it and then maybe put this over the top. I know some people are going to be real bitchy about the fact that like if you turn the torso, it's, you know, it doesn't line up like that. And they're like, oh man, I hate that. I'm going to stick with the Legends because I wish it, you know, I just want an ab crunch. But you're sorely missing out if that's the case. He's got the pirate boots, the pirate gloves, which look outstanding as well. These look so good. But then other than that, he's, you know, in the belt and all that, it's pretty much just your classic Captain America costume. And now going over articulation, he's got the dumbbell at the top of the head and the bottom of the neck, so he can go up that far altogether. Can go that far forward, can bury his chin, which is awesome. He's got the tilt, rotation at both of those. His shoulders go out all the way, which is awesome. Rotate all the way around. They're a little tight. You might have to put some shock oil in there. Butterfly joints, which mine were stuck, so thankfully I was able to get those loose. Can go all the way across, which is so awesome. I love that. Can go all the way back too, which is just even better. He's got the bicep swivel, which is very tight on mine. Please be careful. You guys don't want to break your figures. He's got double jointed elbows that go up all the way. Standard MAFEX hinges at the hands, so they can go pretty much any direction that your heart desires. As for the torso, can go all the way forward, which is amazing. That far back, he's got the tilt and rotation at both of those, which is outstanding. Legs drop down, can go that far forward and that far back. He's got the little bit of hip swivel up at the joint itself. Double jointed knees that go back that far, pretty solid. No boot swivel or anything because he does have an ankle swivel, so it, you know, swivels down here. Can rotate whatever direction your heart desires as well. Can go back that far, up that far, and of course, toe joint. So I am real quick going to show you guys what it looks like and how it goes with trying to put the shield on here when you have all of it attached together. Because like I said, I don't know if it's supposed to have a part that separates, but mine wouldn't go back together. So I was just like, well, it's got to be what it's got to be. So usually I'll pop the head off because like I said those wings are just too, they are way too damn fragile. Like they are hard plastic. So you want to take the arms, put them in there like so. Hopefully this is all focused on camera because I'm trying to do this and not break my figure. It goes on like so. And it slips on pretty easily actually. Like that was probably the smoothest that it's done for me. I'm going to be totally honest with you. And it's not a snug, like it's not super tight to his body or anything either, but it's not too loose. So you actually can still get like the range of movement out of his shoulders and everything. But god damn, how good does this look? This looks so good. And now on some size comparisons. Here he is next to the Ultimate Captain America from Marvel Legends and then the 20th anniversary, which I did customize and painted the head and filled in the joints so it looks like he's pinless and whatnot. But I think these three look great. And then here he is next to the 85th anniversary, right? 80th anniversary Captain America. And then the Alex Ross style, and then the MCU Stealth Suit Winter Soldier Captain America. And I brought this specific Steve in from the movies because I kind of wanted to see if we could take the head sculpt, which his peg came out with it, so that's not good. I wanted to see if that could fit on here. This actually works. I put the Steve head on here in the mask if you wanted to do that Star-Spangled Man from the first Avenger movie. Oh man, that actually looks pretty good. I did not expect it to look this good. And then here he is next to the, you know, comic Spider-Man from MAFEX, and then the MAFEX Tiger Stripe Wolverine. I unfortunately don't have Iron Man. I do have the comic book Thor, but I tried to fix that figure because I was like, ooh, this would be a fun passion project to try and take that garbage figure and make it a good one. It did not work, and it made me angry, so I never want to look at it again. But these three look great together. I love this, and I can't wait for the CT Toys Brown Suit Wolverine, because MAFEX doesn't want to make money, and so they won't re-release that figure or the comic Miles. So that's fine. And then last but not least, I want to show them next to a couple of bigger figures. That way you guys can kind of see if you could fudge some bigger, you know, characters into your MAFEX display, and maybe if you wanted to put this Captain America like flanked by Luke Cage and She-Hulk, you could maybe get away with the scaling quote-unquote issue with Legends. So with like this figure and Legends, I mean. Overall, clearly, as you guys can tell probably from my joy of this entire video, I am so unbelievably happy to have this comic Captain America. MAFEX, you killed it. You guys just knocked it out of the park, and I am even more hyped for Daredevil than I was. I'm still a little skeptical because I'm worried that he might not... I've only seen those pictures of him like underneath studio lights and stuff, but I'm trying to avoid everything else because I want to like have my own in-hand impressions and like not be swayed by anybody else, you know, like for the sake of reviewing and all that stuff, as well as just my own, you know, personal want for the figure. But like when it comes to Captain America, Spider-Man, and Daredevil figures, I am the harshest critic, as you guys know, because like I said, those are my top three. Those are my guys. So this figure to me is the best Captain America that we've ever gotten, period, through and through, period. And I could not be happier with it. The only things that like would have been cool for me personally would have been if they put some shading on the scale mail. That would have been just really cool if they had done that kind of for everybody. I feel like everyone would have enjoyed that. But I would have loved to have seen the black on the forehead, because that's my personal look for Cap, which I know that that's probably a lot of people's as well, so it's probably not a super controversial statement, but I love that, how that looks. And as soon as this is done recording, that's the first thing I'm doing, is putting that black on his forehead. And I will post a picture of it on Instagram or something like that if you guys want to go over and see that. After this goes live, I'll probably have that photo up shortly after, if not before. So the articulation on this guy, the accessories that he comes with, the fact that he comes with the 2 different shields is also really cool. So it's not like swappable pieces that you have to do and like deal with. This guy is just, he's perfect to me. Like there's nothing else that I would have wanted from this figure. So yeah, I've ranted for long enough. That's going to do it from me, and I will catch you all in the next one. See ya.